All right, thanks very much, Ed. 8 minutes past the hour. Let's get to our guest, Thomas Hayes, chairman of Great Hill Capital. Thomas, a lot has happened in the past week as it relates to markets, yet we have the VIX down today to the mid-teens. Is this a time for you to get aggressive or to sort of stick with your knitting?
Well, it depends on the sector, Brian. What we saw yesterday, despite all the hawkishness coming from Bullard, Kaplan, Bostic, and Rosengren, Powell is driving the bus, and he's got the pedal to the metal. He's basically said inflation is transitory, it's due to base effects, it's due to short-term supply bottlenecks, and the downturn disproportionately hurt low-wage workers. So what does that mean? Of the dual mandate, stable prices, and full employment, he's going for full employment, and he has perfect cover to do that. Why? Because last year, before the pandemic, the unemployment rate was 3.5%. Now it's 5.8%, and there's still 9.3 million people unemployed. But I think, Brian, to your point, with the S&P up over 90% off of its pandemic lows, it's getting harder and harder to find value. So one of the areas that we've been spending a lot of time on in the last few weeks and building up a core position is, believe it or not, in Chinese stocks.
So let's return to Chinese stocks in a moment. I just want to get your view on the inflation. Is it transitory? Is it enduring? Because we've got strong and strengthening oil prices, other commodities rising as well. Eventually, this is going to feed through to real-world prices and potentially sustain inflation?
Yeah, I think, two things. You're seeing a number of commodities did soften in the last month or so with the grains, with copper to a lesser extent. Oil has been the outlier. Oil has been rising. And I think kind of the black swan that we should be wary of in coming weeks and coming months is the potentiality of an Iran deal that could knock $5 to $10 off the price of oil. And you're seeing so much optimism in the oil markets right now. You know, two of our biggest picks last year when no one wanted them, we were going in for banks, which was Wells Fargo, the dirtiest shirt in the bunch, and we were going for ExxonMobil because we wanted to stay up high on the quality ladder. And now that these names and these groups are up, 75, 100, 150% in some cases in the cyclicals, everyone has been forced in. Everyone's excited. With oil now at $73 a barrel, everyone's looking for 100. And I think that's kind of the black swan that leads us to focus, coupled with Powell's dovishness, to focus on those yield-sensitive sectors that have been hit this year and have underperformed this year. And we've been trimming back on some of our cyclicals as we've made that move in recent weeks.
A quick taster here on your comment about China stocks. You like Alibaba. It's down a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you've seen Alibaba down 35% peak to trough, Pinduoduo down 50%, Tencent down 25%. So why are they down? They're down for three key reasons. One,
well, hold that thought on the three reasons, because we need some more time on that. Interested to hear it? We're chatting here with Thomas Hayes from Great Hill Capital, and we'll continue and we'll update markets as well. This is Bloomberg.
If you've got a personal auto insurance question, you could talk to a cab driver, although the policies he recommends might include avoiding the interstate, beating traffic by taking the back roads, and only making left turns when absolutely necessary. Or you could talk to your local Geico agent, whose policy is to use their expertise to navigate your insurance, finding the best route to help you save money on insurance for your home, car, and more. And as an added bonus, you'll be able to avoid traffic jams and potholes entirely. To find a Geico agent near you, visit geico.com/local.
It's Mattress Firm's biggest 4th of July sale ever. Hurry in and get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen bed for the price of a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend just $6.99 on Sealy. Or save $500 on all Tempur-Pedic Breeze mattresses. With our low price guarantee, you can rest assured you'll get the best bed at the best price, only at Mattress Firm. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
Take a seat. In the all-new enhanced G-Series wheel loader from Case Construction Equipment, experience the ease of having customizable settings and core functions at your fingertips with a new touchscreen display, configurable buttons, and adjustable electro-hydraulic controls. Plus, enjoy the convenience of uptime center monitoring and remote diagnostics. Discover the difference as you boost production, increase uptime, and improve overall quality of operation with the Case Enhanced G-Series. See all that's new at casece.com/tellmemore.
You know the difference between your bank and the banking business.
The new chief executive will take the bank in a different direction.
Your clothes and the fashion industry.
This is the new look of retail.
Your house and the real estate market.
Is that something you see reflected in the real estate business?
So do we. Bloomberg, for your professional side.
Is the U.S. really that immune to some of those influences?
Bloomberg Radio, the Bloomberg Business, Radio.com, and iHeartRadio apps, and BloombergRadio.com. Bloomberg, the world is listening.
The world's financial decision makers connect on the Bloomberg terminal, sharing ideas, negotiating trades, and forming an influential network that helps power global markets. Isn't it time you join them? Bloomberg.com/professional.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Burden LLP Accountants and Advisors presents Tax Chat with Richard Goldstein, Senior Principal and Co-Leader of Burden State and Local Tax Practice.
COVID-19 pandemic state and local government restrictions have caused many people to shelter in place outside their primary state of residence. The new normal of remote working has proliferated potentially costly state and local tax residency issues. For example, if you live in Manhattan but have been residing and working in Connecticut because of the pandemic, you may be a resident of one or both states and potentially taxed twice on the same income. At Burden, we help clients develop a plan to address double residency concerns and non-resident income allocation to minimize their overall tax liability. If you're a high net worth individual or a business owner, let Burden help protect you, your family, and your business.
For more Tax Chat from Burden Accountants and Advisors, visit BurdenLLP.com. That's BERDONLLP.com. Burden Accountants and Advisors. We listen, we solve, we do.
Accounting professional Liam Cohen, CPA, a trustee of the Jewish Communal Fund, and Sephardic Beaker Holem, talks about why he uses JCF's donor-advised fund and recommends JCF to his clients.
JCF is an organization that I've worked with for many years, both personally and in my accounting practice. The ease of giving and managing my donations through their website is very effective. Using it for tax planning and managing all of my charitable giving through one place. JCF's endowment helps support Jewish organizations throughout the tri-state area, and that's very important to me and my clients.
JCF's donor-advised fund is the smarter way to give back. Let Jewish Communal Fund maximize your clients' charitable deductions and streamline their charitable giving. Since JCF handles all the administration, get started now at jcfny.org or call 212-752-8277. We have a gift for giving.
If an associate tells you she has in-depth information on a story only highly informed experts are talking about,
there's one big sticking point.
Then both of you have been listening.
President Biden spoke about the conflict.
Bloomberg Daybreak with Karen Moscow and Nathan Hager.
Republican leaders are talking infrastructure spending.
Weekday mornings at 5 Eastern.
The CDC is opening a new phase
on Bloomberg Radio, the Bloomberg Business app, and BloombergRadio.com. Bloomberg, the world is listening.
The private equity space is more competitive than ever before. Successful transactions require quality, speed, and efficiency. Closing a deal is just the beginning. That's why Witham is dedicated to the entire life cycle of your investment. Private equity investors trust Witham to bring thoughtful financial insights, tax structuring, integration, and cyber risk mitigation to strengthen value creation. Experience the Witham way. Visit witham.com/PE. Witham.
This is Bloomberg Daybreak Asia. It's a quarter past the hour now. Time for a check of sport from around the world. Here's Dan Schwartzman.
Thanks, Brian. Martin Keimer and Graham McDowell have been named vice captains for Europe at this year's Ryder Cup, joining both Robert Karlsson and Luke Donald under captain Padraig Harrington. This year's edition will be held at Whistling Straits in Wisconsin, starting on September 24th. Cristiano Ronaldo makes history, scoring 2 goals, both on penalties, as Portugal and France played a 2-2 draw in Euro 2020. Ronaldo ties Iran's Ali Day for most men's international goals with 109. With the draw, both countries move on to the round of 16. Elsewhere, Spain dominating Slovakia 5-0 to advance to the round of 16, as does Sweden with a 3-2 stoppage time win over Poland, while Germany slips into the knockout round with a 2-2 draw against Hungary. The New York Mets getting good news as an MRI on pitcher Marcus Stroman's hip showed no significant issues after Stroman left Tuesday's start against the Braves with a sore hip. Stroman on the season is 6-5 with a 2.31 ERA for the first-place Mets. Finally, sources are reporting that the Boston Celtics are set to hire Brooklyn Nets assistant coach Ime Udoka as head coach, with a formal announcement expected as early as tomorrow. The 43-year-old spent 7 years under Greg Popovich in San Antonio before moving on to the Philadelphia 76ers for 2 seasons before heading to Brooklyn this year. Udoka will be replacing former head coach Brad Stevens, who's replacing Danny Ainge as Celtics president of basketball operations. I'm Dan Schwartzman. That's your Bloomberg World Sports Update.
Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, the Bloomberg Business app, and at Bloomberg Quick Take. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
And I'm Paul Allen in Sydney, seeing kind of a mixed picture around futures for the Asia-Pacific right now. Futures for Hong Kong and China kind of flat. The Nikkei looking mixed. Futures traded out of Chicago higher by 0.1%. So all those traded out of Singapore a tad weaker. Kospi pointing higher, but here in Australia, ASX 200 futures off now by about 0.4%. We've got a special case here in Sydney. COVID is back. We have 31 cases. Doesn't sound like a lot, but we're expecting something of a spike in the numbers today when they're announced in a couple of hours' time. The Delta variant is circulating here. The New South Wales Agriculture Minister's just tested positive, and the Premier for the state refusing to rule out lockdown. So we'll be keeping an eye on that story for you. Mixed picture for US equities. The S&P and the Dow are both a little weaker in thin trading. The Nasdaq higher by just 0.1%, although that was enough to qualify it for a new high. We've been hearing from a couple of Fed speakers today as well. Raphael Bostic saying he expects some tapering this year, a rate increase late next year, and a couple of moves in 2023. And Robert Kaplan echoing that, saying he sees tapering coming sooner rather than later. Markets, though, seeming to take all that news in their stride. In fact, the yield on the 10-year little changed, about 148. Currencies little changed as well. The US dollar 110.98 against the yen. And that is your market update. Let's get a check of global news now. Ed Baxter's in San Francisco. Ed.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Today marks the last day of Hong Kong's Apple Daily publication. Over 1 million hard copies printed. People lined up in the rain to get a bit of history. Bloomberg's Stephen Engel has reported now that they're down to a skeleton crew because employees had quite a fear of more arrests and fearing for their freedom. Day 2 of the trial of several men charged under this China security law as well. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson today marking the 5-year anniversary of the vote to Brexit, saying that UK has indeed established its independence from outside influence. U.S. FBI Director Christopher Wray, in front of the Senate Appropriations Committee today, says the agency's strategy to stop ransomware is working. Europe is getting a fresh warning about safety and getting people vaccinated as the Delta variant spreads. UK reports most cases since the start of February. In San Francisco, I'm Ed Baxter. This is Bloomberg. All right, Paul, back to you.
All right. Thanks very much, Ed. We're joined this half hour by Thomas Hayes. He's chairman of Great Hill Capital. And Thomas, we did have to cut you off on your thought a little earlier. You were talking about Alibaba, saying it's down for 3 key reasons. I wondered if you'd care to expand on those.
Yeah, the Chinese stocks as a whole, the whole basket really got hit several months back for a few reasons. First and foremost was the Archegos family office, the Bill Wang blow-up. There was an unwind of about $100 billion notional of Chinese stocks, and the ones in his portfolio, Baidu, VIP Shops, GSX, et Tencent Music, Entertainment, were hit, but also ones that weren't in his portfolio, like Baba, JD, Xpeng. The entire group was hit with this unwind, which took many months with the prime brokers unwinding their hedges and their positions. The second thing is obviously the Chinese government regulation and crackdown. We saw a $2.8 billion fine, anti-monopoly fine to Alibaba. We saw a crackdown on the live streamers, on the education providers. We saw a delay of the Ant Financial IPO. And then finally, of course, was inflation fears. So you saw it was the same with the tech and yield-sensitive groups in the United States. With the 10-year yield went up from 100 basis points to 175 basis points within a period of 6 weeks earlier in the year. Tech and Chinese tech all sold off because long-duration earnings became less valuable with the fear of a higher discount rate. Now, Alibaba is a unique situation, certainly best in class. If you look back since its IPO, it's traded at an average PE of 28 times. If you look forward to next year's earnings, it's trading at 18 times next year's earnings, so it's trading at a steep discount. And what's exciting is here in June of 2021, you can buy Alibaba for the same price you could buy it in June of 2018. The difference, Paul, they've doubled revenue per share, they've doubled cash flow per share, and they've doubled earnings per share. So double the business for the same price. We like that type of opportunity. We also... Go ahead.
It's a bit surprising, though, that you have your largest position in Alibaba, yet no holdings in Tencent. You know, both have dominant positions. Alibaba, obviously in e-commerce, but huge tentacles elsewhere. Tencent with its dominant position in gaming, but also with huge tentacles in fintech and everything else. But no holdings in Tencent. Why?
Yeah, so we like the diversification of Alibaba. We also like the fact that they own a third of Ant Financial. Ant Financial, which when the IPO was going out, is valued at $300 billion. That $100 billion will come in handy for global expansion, for share buybacks. And now, with the Chinese government's focused on a digital yuan, Ant Financial is critical in that rollout. They also rolled out a credit rating service, credit scoring service with the government that Ant Financial will play a key role in. So it looks like cooperation is moving forward between Ant Financial, which is controlled by Jack Ma, and Alibaba, and that's going to be helpful to possibly get that IPO done in the next 4, 6, maybe 12 months or sooner, and we like that. We also like the fact that Alibaba's cloud business, the competitor to AWS, is growing at such a fast pace, it could overtake AWS within the next 5 years. AliCloud could. So we like that. And then we also look at the Chinese government. They have a dual circulation mandate. They're trying to increase internal consumption. So they really need Alibaba to succeed. If they kill their own, they're not going to help themselves. I think they're going to back off on the regulation, and I think you're going to see that Alibaba thrives on that vein. And finally, Charlie Munger of Berkshire Hathaway, in his daily journal investment vehicle, he's put 20% of the portfolio in Alibaba as of Q1. So we started buying in June. You can buy at a discount to Charlie Munger, Alibaba, and we think it's just a tremendous opportunity here.
Thomas, we've got about 30 seconds left. You like defences as well, though, utilities, consumer staples. What are you trying to tell us about risk?
Well, I'm trying to tell you something a little bit more about rates. I think that what Powell told us is that it's going to be 2023 rate rise, 2022 taper, and as a result, those yields are going to become more valuable in utilities, in selected staples. Certainly tech is going to benefit, and selected big pharma. Those yields are going to come in handy, and maybe this Delta variant could be one of the catalysts over the summer.
Thomas Hayes, Chairman of Great Hill Capital, thanks for joining us. This is Bloomberg.